We're joined this morning by Greene County Mayor David Crum. Mayor Crum, pleasure to have you with us here.
Good to be here, Jim, and welcome to everyone in Greene County listening to this.
Well, we sat down last month and talked about some of the issues and some of the things that have been happening in the county, and we said we wanted to try and make this a monthly occurrence, and here we are back again for another month.
Yes, and time just goes quickly. We're quickly approaching those holidays with Thanksgiving and Christmas season coming up.
Well, let's talk a little bit about what happened at the Greene County Commission meeting on Monday night. The commissioners met and went over some items and discussed some things, and some issues were approved and passed through. Others are going to be kind of held off right now and waiting for further research. One of the ones that did come up was the plan, or it was almost more of a question more than a actual statement of where the EMS budget was, and trying to get more money and make sure that EMS was going to be solvent as far as their salaries went up through the point where the CTAS study is going to take place, and it was determined that everything is okay with their budget. Does that still hold true? Are they doing all right now?
I want to look at that closer because we don't want to come up at the end and be worried. I think Director Sane and they had talked and felt like that we're okay for a temporary one. We did increase some revenue areas in that line item that should help, but the big issue is looking to that directive from CTAS, and CTAS works through the University of Tennessee to provide technical services to counties on various issues, and to kind of follow up and make sure they continue to work on that. I know they are, but till we get that back and see what changes may need to be made in that area as far as personnel and staffing and movement of people and reviewing all services that we're providing there.
Do you think, if assuming that the study comes back some point in the next couple of months, are these changes that would go into effect for the next fiscal year, or would some of these changes possibly go into effect immediately, or is it kind of wait and see what they say?
I think when we get that back, we need to start taking action. We don't need to be waiting on anything else from them. That's been what we've done. We've kind of agreed when they give us some recommendations, we're going to review and see which do fit best for Greene County, and we'll start taking action then.
One other issue that was discussed during the meeting on Monday night was about county right-of-way and about utilities getting installed and having the access to that right-of-way. That was a motion that there was a good bit of discussion about, and it ultimately wound up being pulled. What was some of the discussion about that?
Well, the big issue was, it was quite a complicated, or to me, piece of paper to make sure we understand on what if you have a power outage was the big thing. Bill Carroll being there with Light and Power, to make sure he can go ahead and take action at that time without having to wait for any permit through the highway department or someone to go ahead and resolve electrical outages, or maybe you have a water line that burst and things. Do you have to wait? I think that all started really the state kind of recommending the county look at it on a local level to get their resolution in place, so that if a utility company comes in and digs up part of a roadway and doesn't come back and repair that we know that repair was going on and who did that action. And one of the things I heard a couple of people say that whenever we're out maybe bush hogging along right of ways and we hit one of those a cable box or something and tear it up because the utility company's not maintaining around it, then we have an expense, or could be placing an employee in a dangerous situation if they hit a box that might have some power or something there with these. So we want to make sure that we can get repairs and things that would be needed in an emergency situation and not do damage to our roadways and things.
One other issue that was approved on Monday was allowing the Sheriff's Department to purchase Tasers through some of the funds that they've come across. I guess those are from some of the seizures that they've gotten over time? Is that where that money is coming from?
It is. It's coming from the actual drug fund that overseen through the Drug Commission. So it's monies that have been confiscated and properties and sold that is there. I think it's a great movement forward with our Sheriff's Department. Sheriff probably would rather comment on those himself, but I think he and I would be in agreement. It helps protect the officer, help protect the public, gives you an opportunity to deal with individuals that may not be in compliance or may be violent with using a less lethal force. And one of the things, I haven't looked at the sheriff's policy, but I think he's following it kind of is he's actually been tased. And the reason for that is one of the requirements that they have is that way you know the effect of the taser on the individual, and it's seen that officers that have gone through that training and get tased themselves are less likely to activate it.
One other object or item that the Sheriff's Department came through with was selling some vehicles and getting some surplus revenue that way. They made $3,600 off the sale of some vehicles. And just talk about that program and about how that's an additional revenue source.
Well, you could go online if you have the internet and look to the website GovDeals. And we're not only selling through the Sheriff's Department, but the Solid Waste Department has just sold, and they were picked up yesterday, some items. So we're really looking to get liquid some of these surplus, not just vehicles, but properties that have been kind of gone into storage and you forget about, and to get those things out and generate some revenue.
Let's talk a little bit about the Solid Waste Department. Looking through the numbers on Monday, it looks like that the efforts that in the recycling and the job that Tim Armstrong has been doing as far as getting revenue sources for recycling, the numbers are just really staggering right now.
Yeah, Tim's just done a great job at looking at those, and a lot of that help comes by him being able to get the inmates. It gets them out, gets them working, gets them productive. But he's been able to generate a lot of revenue in the recyclables, especially in that corrugated area, the cardboard. So I would encourage people to recycle and split those items out that we can in the aluminum, the cardboard, and any of the items that we're able to recycle and sell. It generates revenue for that solid waste fund, and he has really done an excellent job, and I think that's been a great appointment. Whenever I got elected, I talked to Tim and told him that that's one of those areas about all I know on solid waste is garbage in, garbage out, to give me some time. And we took a couple months there. He and I talked. I think it's been a great fit, and Tim's a hard worker, and he's finding places to save money and generate additional revenues there. So been a really good move to appoint him as director.
Have you gotten any feedback from the community over the hours of the convenience center now that they're closed on Wednesdays? Has there been any positive, any negative feedback about that?
I've had some contact, and I know it makes it a little more difficult. I try to make things real simple, 10 to 6 every day, but Wednesday and Sunday, then you can kind of remember that easy. I always found it confusing in the past when I'd have to go and look if I had something to take down. Are they open at 6 in the morning this day? Or are they open at 6 late? And so I found that more confusing. It may be a little less convenient for some. I've had people that say, well, I always took my garbage on my way to work, and I tell them that they're one of the few people that I found that can get up and get started in time to work to have the time to go by. We may look at those a little bit down the road. I say now I don't plan to make any changes until next budget year on those, with some input to see what next budget year may hold. If we have to look at any additional cuts in that area or modifications, and so we'll be monitoring that as we go along.
Last month, the county signed off on the tax anticipation note to get $1 million of revenue that will kind of keep the fund balance afloat and keep the county going until the rest of the tax revenue starts rolling in here. I guess that's kind of helped keep things stabilized a little bit for the time being.
it gave us that little jump start over the weekend. I believe Nathan Holt, our trustee, said that Monday morning after we made that transaction, we had like $1,400,000 in the bank. And it amazes me. I'm not used to dealing with numbers like that. That sounds like a lot of money, but whenever you've got payroll coming out that could take that, and the outstanding checks, if it wasn't for the million in front of that 400,000, you could have $250,000 in outstanding checks that have been written and not processed that could get you down. Check's not going to bounce, but you're running those funds into the negatives, and that the comptroller's office and accounts like that even less. So it has given us that jump start. People have been coming in and paying. I think Nathan was wanting to make more, but since we're here today, we can accept partial payments. If you end up late on taxes, it has to be paid in full. But it was passed some years ago. It's not taken advantage of a lot. But you can make 3 payments. They don't have to be equal payments, with the third payment having to be that final payment. So if you had ability to pay some now and wanted to make a partial payment, and some later on in January even, and as long as you make that final payment for the end of February, you could break it up into up to 3 payments.
During the public hearing portion of the meeting on Monday night, there was a concern from a resident who had some issues with the firing range, that there was the noise and the commotion that goes on down there. And this might be more of an issue for those folks, but where do you fall on that? Are those concerns that you take seriously, and is that something that the county can do?
Well, we want the public to feel comfortable and safe, but that range has been there for a number of years. It's my understanding we shut it down by 10 o'clock at night to try to stay there. From my prior job at the police department, we try to be good neighbors, but that's just something that generates some noise. It's been down in that area for many years. We've managed to get some money to refurbish that range to allow much more educational opportunities there for hunter safety to go into effect there. Wherever you move a range, I don't know where you could move it that it would not affect neighbors. And we have to also look, it's a little bit convenient for law enforcement. It's location down there to where we can get to it and still be near calls for service if you've got a training exercise going on there, to where they can leave if need be. I think it would probably be monitored a little more closely as far as the usage of the range. Whenever we get this remodeling done, there'll be more of a range master there that can actually be there and coordinate and oversee the activities going on there. I'll just tell you, Jim, I don't see us moving. I don't see it feasible to relocate that range and to another part of the county.
Is there anything else that's happening right now in your office and in county government that people may not know about that you might want to let people be aware of?
Well, the one thing that we started to pull and then we're able to finish is the monument to the Tennessee Army National Guard troops that were killed in that tragic crash back in 1966. One of the litter crew people had noticed that there's not been a flag. That's been maintained by our litter crew, going up there and trying to keep it maintained. The county's junior ROTC has agreed to take that on as a service learning project. Since we're kind of giving them permission, they're taking that. The gentleman's been really kind of taking care of that also over the years, paying the taxes and trying to keep the memories of those people that were injured and killed alive. Is agreed to donate that little section to the county so that it will be maintained and that we can keep that. So hopefully that whenever we get everything signed off and approved, that we'll have a small little memorial service up there as kind of a remembrance to that, and we'll run that through you and the paper so that the community that may want to come up to that.
Speaking of events, this past week was the groundbreaking ceremony for the Veterans Memorial Park in town. You were present for that and part of that event, and it's just amazing to see how that's just kind of all come together in this time. And it's seeing the images and seeing how it's going to look. It's going to be a real great tribute to the folks who gave their lives for our freedom.
Yeah. I think it's going to be a great park. It's a good location. It's a nice, quiet area that families and people can go to and just kind of sit and reflect, and veterans can go and their family members and just kind of have a little quiet time and remember all those people that have sacrificed for our freedoms. Jim, thank you for giving me this opportunity to come down this morning and speak to the citizens. If they have any questions or comments that they want to address, we'll do this again next month. Get together just after the next commission meeting. Hope everyone has a safe holiday season. The Christmas parade will be coming up, and a whole lot of activities will be going on. I guess Greenville's Mohawks and the other communities will be getting together to celebrate the holiday season. And thank you. I want to end. I still run into a lot of people that are out there that say, they're encouraging me, encouraging the commission, and praying for us. And I do want to say that I am grateful for those people out there in our community that pray for our government officials, and especially me in particular, that we'll continue and work to do the right things to move Greene County forward.
David Crum, Greene County Mayor, as always, our pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jim.